You guys are live.
Okay.
You guys are live.
Okay, welcome to Thhisrupt Talk. We are here in the office of Kun Chris Botanan. He's a party member of Move Forward and also a lawyer. Thank you for letting us using your office.
No worries, sir.
No worries. And there's an explanation for this portrait of Kun Thissrupt here, which we'll get to later. But first, let me introduce today's topic. We're going to talk about coups, constitutions, and also kings. We have to put kings in there too, because otherwise it wouldn't be an honest conversation. Now, of course, everyone knows by now Thailand have had 20 constitutions since the 1932 revolution. We have had about 20 coup d'etats, both successful and attempted. Of the 20, 13 were successful. And at this moment in time, the Rasdon movement wants Thailand to write another constitutional charter. It would be the 21st. If they are successful at it. And also there are rumors of another coup d'etat flying around for the past 2 months, 3 months, so on and so forth. So it seems that Thailand just can't get itself unstuck from all these coups and new constitution and so on and so forth. So that's the topic today. Kun Chris, you are here to help me explain.
Of course. I try my best. I'm not the expert, but I try my best.
First of all, why you have this portrait of Kun Suthep in your office? So I was puzzled why Kun Suthep. Obviously, you are not politically aligned with him. You are a member of Move Forward.
I put him here, right here, in front of my desk, so I can see him every day. That he's the one who played a very, very important role in dragging us here in this crisis. He's the one who led the mass protest just before the coup happened 6 years ago.
2014.
2014, yes. And because of that mass protest, the demand of that protest was to reform before an election. And that eventually bring us to the coup d'etat of Kun Prayut.
So it was not the event that led us back to the cycle of coup d'etat.
Yeah.
So that's why he's here. But let's move him aside because it feels kind of weird to be
Thank you, ma'am.
We
Are we done?
wanted to make a point. The point was made. So let's just let Kun Suthep go take a rest. And okay, let's talk about these coups and constitutions, so on and so forth. Now, you have done some study, right?
Yeah. I've done my homework.
You have done your homework. You have zeroed in on these periods in Thailand's history, in which you call ประชาธิปไตยครึ่งใบ or let's just call them half a democracy. Why are they half a democracy? And are we still in half a democracy right now? Please.
I say a lot of people have said that we have the constitution since 1932, meaning we have democracy since 1932. To that, I disagree.
Right. Explain why, please.
Yeah. So overall, in Thai political history, most of the time, even when we have the constitution, the elected legislature is only half of the house. So most of the time that we've been through this something 90 years of 88 years
of supposed democracy.
I say 90% of that we have the house that was half elected. So it's only Saw, the House of Representatives, is only elected. However, we still have Saw most of the time.
So
most of the time, the Senate.
The MPs are elected. The Senate
are all appointed. We have the elected Senate the first time I think is in 1998 or 1999.
Yes.
After we have the 1997 constitution.
Right. Okay, so even elected senators was a new thing for
Yeah.
Thailand. It's
Yeah.
only 20 years ago, but now we don't even have that. Now, but
Yes.
but then the argument is, what is wrong with having appointed senators, even in the United Kingdom, in England?
Yeah.
The upper house are appointed. It's the privilege of the law, the House of Lords.
Sure,
So
sure.
what's the difference?
What's the difference? I said it's probably the way that the privilege or the people in the top of the pyramid see the people. To that, you don't trust the whole country to elect the whole legislature house. To that, you need they think they need somebody, some people who knows more than the member of parliament, who knows more than the representative of the people. Most of the time they are police, they are soldiers, they are bureaucrats like ข้าราชการ
Right.
and with that they keep their network up there and it passed on forever until 1997. We never have that. We never have elected senate ever, and now we don't even have it again.
Is that how the Thai cultural mindset is set, the belief in the social hierarchy, and then there's the privileged class, and then there's everyone else, and it's the privilege of the privilege to rule over everyone else, and in order to make sure that they have that power within this half a democracy, one way to make sure of that is to have appointed senators to check on the power of the
people.
the people. Now, is that a part of the reason why Thailand is stuck in this cycle of coup and constitution and our inability to evolve and develop at least one step further as a country, as a democracy?
Oh, yeah, yes and no. Maybe.
Yes and no. Okay.
Maybe yes and no, because Senate are one thing, are one of the tools
Right.
of the people in the top of this pyramid, of this tighted elites.
Right.
Senate is one tools. However, most of the time, these tools are mostly concentrated within the army.
Okay.
Yeah. So I said that this society, the way that this structure is supported by, say, a table. Each legs, they are not less important, not more important than the others, but they're just, these legs are, this is my theory only. Somebody might agree with me, some might not. You guys feel free to share. So the first leg I say is this Senate. The second would be the army.
Right.
The third would be the court. Then the fourth, I say, it would be the culture, the way we think.
Okay, the way we do. So let's go through them one by one. Okay,
Yeah.
the Senate is clear. Presently, the 250 Senate were appointed by the Khosroch, the military junta. So we understand that point. Let's talk about the army last, because that's the biggest one.
Okay.
The court. How is the court a part of the privileged elite function?
So let's bring this up a bit. Why is the court support this coup d'etat system? Let's say something like that.
Does the court support it? How
More, all the time.
Okay, please explain.
Okay, all the time.
You're a lawyer. Put evidence to your accusation.
So, in this country,
Right.
the way they taught in the law school is every single orders, if it comes from the successful coup, is a law.
Well, of course, because they have the guns.
Yeah, but the thing is, the court never have a courage. Never even have the courage when the coup is not there. When the coup is not there, when it's elected government, the court still rules that these orders, that hundred or thousand of orders, are all legitimate laws.
So
And to that, I have problems with that.
So
I have problems with that.
what you are saying is that the court fails in its function as a pillar of democracy because every time the tanks drove in and they are successful, the court, instead of standing up for democracy, saying no, whatever the consequence, they instead submit to the tanks.
Yeah, submit to the sovereign. What about that? Submit to the sovereign. To that I understand. To that I didn't understand that.
Right.
If the coup is there, if the tank is there, they have guns. The court has no way to say no.
Right.
I don't reckon all these orders as laws. I understand that, but later on, most of the time the coup will come. They draft the interim constitution,
Right.
and then there's a constitution.
Right.
In those times, in the constitution period, the court never actually have courage, not even one time, to say that we don't recognize the orders of the coup.
So from all 13 successful coup d'etats, the court always just go along.
All to this 88 years, they say from 1932 till now, never even once that the court say your orders is not the law.
Okay, but to be fair to the court and then to move it a step aside from this topic, what's going on right now is the Rastron movement, the protesters are marching, and the key activists have all been are all facing many charges against them. Each one, right? They are being harassed, they are being persecuted. So far, it seems that the court is the only function in the government that is willing to give justice to the Rastron activists, because the court has been the ones that granting them bail whenever possible, even though the police want to keep arresting them.
To this, I'm a little surprised too. To this, I'm super surprised that since the Rastron protest, the court has been giving bails all the time, most of the time, like 95% of the time, I say. It's like and like you said, it's conflict with what I just said. Like the court never stand with the people. Why the court stand with the people now? Seems like that, right?
Is it because what they can do now, it doesn't harm them, but in a coup d'etat it's a much bigger stage. And if they don't go along, there might be some prison term that follows. Like in theory, the coup can just cancel, since every time if there's a successful coup, they can actually say anything is a law. They can cancel any institution. They can even set up the new court. Now, to go further on that topic and very delicately, one of the 10 demands of the Rastron movement to reform the monarchy is for there to be a clause that the king or the sovereign could no longer endorse a coup d'etat, because that plays an important role also in signaling to the court to accept, and also signaling to the nation that this coup, whichever one it may be, is legitimate because there is that royal endorsement. Do you, as a lawyer and as a party member of Move Forward, agree that there ought to be a change regarding this action?
Sure. This need to be changed. So basically,
You try to find a delicate way.
I try to find a delicate way.
That's okay. Be delicate.
Just I try to be
Article 112 is back. So it's delicate.
So to give you a few history first.
Let's go history.
History. Every time, most of the time, when the coup happened, the king always sign the let's say the interim constitution. What about
Yes. Yes.
that? Yeah. Let's go there. And to that, I understand too that when the coup is there successfully holding guns and take control of the country, the coup is a sovereign, and basically anyone who's in its way will get consequences. And the king or the monarchy is no different than the court, let me just say.
Fair enough.
Right? So when they take control, if the king is its way, the coup has the power, has the sovereign to say there is no king no more.
Okay. Which
In
has
this country.
happened before in other countries.
Which has happened before in other countries, but not in this country.
But when you put it in that context, it
Yeah.
seems like the only group of people that have the power to overthrow the monarchy, as many Thais fear,
Yeah.
is the army. And no one else.
Of course. And this is the thing that a lot of Thai people do not really understand, because people has been saying that, let's say, Kun Suthep has been calling out the coup to come out
Right.
and rescue this country. But the thing is, you never know. If you really say you really support the monarchy, you never know when the coup step out, what are they keeping and what they're kicking out. They have the right, every right to kick the court out. They have the power to kick the king out, right? However, that never happened. The king signs in most of the coups
Right.
constitution,
Yeah.
and that's a problem, because I don't know too whether there's a relationship between the army and the monarchy. Sometimes the monarchy is less powerful than the army, and that happened from 1932 until 40 years later.
What do you mean by that? That the monarchy is less powerful than the military?
In 1932 there was
The revolution of Narongphan.
yeah, Rama 7 reign, right? And the Kanaradon of 1932 was the People's Party at the time, and at that time they are the sovereign, and the king Rama 7 is very weak.
Well, they transformed the system from absolute monarchy,
And from absolute monarchy
to
to
constitutional monarchy.
Yes.
Thereby, the power of the king was reduced because of the change in the political system.
Yeah.
Right.
And that was happened for at least 15 years.
Until General Saritanarat came along.
Yeah. And yeah,
Yeah. Of course.
Yeah. And from that then say that time Ramanai was 19 when he was crowned.
Yes.
Yeah, and 19 years old king would never challenge Kun Sarit, the old man, the military who hold all the power, right?
Right.
So this is what I mean by the monarchy has less power than the army.
So there was a time when the military was the number one in charge.
Yeah.
Perhaps that's no longer true today.
True.
However, I mean, I agree that there's a relationship between the military and the monarchy that has run Thailand for the past 50, 60, 70 years.
Sure.
But then it seems like the main player is the army. Because going back to Kanaradon 1932 revolution, we were supposed to have a democracy. But within a year after the revolution, the army faction of Kanaradon seized power and established a dictatorship. So it wasn't even a year old.
Yeah. 1 year, less than 1 year.
Exactly.
1933.
And ever since then, it has been the military's show. Running Thailand.
Yeah, all the time.
All the time. So
Except in 2489.
what happened in 2489?
There's like a full elected government for the first time, and then 2490, then the coup came along again.
You're referring to Thaksin Shinawatra?
No.
24 girls when they say 19
This is, sometimes it's confusing. Thai years. 1947. Yeah.
1947, after World War II.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So that's what only one time in Thailand history.
Right, because we just lost World War II because we sided with the Axis power, but we lost, but we didn't suffer because the US needed us for the Cold War, so they prop us back up, and then they introduced a full election.
Full election
in 1947.
And then it's only 1 year, and then we all been under military for another.
And that's another coup d'etat, right?
Yeah, another coup d'etat.
So Field Marshal Black, who was came back.
Yeah.
Okay.
For another how many years? 40 years at least. 40
right,
years.
because since that election, it has been a string of military dictators.
Yeah, like
a group. And whenever we have a civilian government, they are always under the thumb of the generals. Anyway, and during the 80s, the time of General Prayut, we had the house that was elected by the people. But the house of the member of the house are all subjected to the military leader, which is right. So the MPs always elected Kun Prem.
Always.
So that's the way it has always been.
Yeah.
Up until 1988, when General Prem stepped down, we had the election, Cha Chunumwan, and again another coup, right?
Yeah. So it seems that we never gonna get out of this.
But we got out of it during the 1990s, right? After the whole fiasco with the the massacre in 1992, and then the King, His Majesty King Rama IX stepped in, mediate between Kun Chamrong Si Mueang and General Sujinda. That was a great moment in Thai history. I remember I was.
How old were you?
I was young. I don't remember how old. I was young. I was still living in Texas, and I saw on CNN this image of His Majesty mediating between the General Sujinda and Kun Chamrong and
the leader of the protest
and everybody, at least my friends and my families who were Americans, not Thai like me. I mean, they were all very astounded by this scene, and it was possibly the finest moment in the history, in the modern history, the finest moment. But then after that, we have had elections all through the 90s, and then every government came tumbling down because of one corruption or another. And then in 2001, I believe, here comes the knight in shining armor. Kun Thaksin Shinawatra
was here.
Everybody loved him from the beginning, and then half the country hated him afterwards, and then another coup d'etat. And here we are today. As a politician, as a lawyer, you know the law, and you know politics, and you are a professional politician. Right now, the conflict is escalating. Rasdon movement, they are not backing down. Prayut Chan-o-cha doesn't feel he has to back down. What's gonna happen? Where do we go? Is there a happy compromise or even a grudging compromise? What do you see happening?
I think as long as the people are still pushing through their proposals, and if they still retain their power, their momentum, I don't see that Kun Prayut would legitimate to be here anymore. Eventually, I don't know when he need to back down. Right now, there's no signs of him being compromised. However, that doesn't mean there's no way to do that. The Thai history has shown that this country is a land of compromise.
Wow.
However, like in 1932, that time, the first People's Power Party took the power. They have every right to overthrow the monarchy. But eventually they kept the monarchy here. So
they didn't overthrow the monarchy.
They didn't overthrow the
monarchy. They simply transformed the political system.
Yeah,
that
to
was
the constitutional monarchy. And this is the same proposal that the protests requested for today. That I never heard of anyone calling the republic system, calling Thailand to be republic without the king.
Well, to be fair, I mean, if you've been to the protest, there are a lot of graffitis.
Yeah, there are a lot of graffitis insulting the kings
and about Thailand
and monarchies. However, there's some. That's one thing I remember. Okay, that's the graffiti.
Don't say it.
That's the Republic of Thailand.
Yes, there are plenty of that, and there was a trending hashtag often.
But I see that was the minorities of the peoples in the protest.
Right.
Most of the people there, they just want this country to be a professional. They want this country to have a standard as a world standard. There's no way of the privilege to take their power away anymore. We've been through all these 88 years of struggling, push and pull. Now the people is pushing back. And if the people in the top, this is not about the monarchy. People in the top, meaning people around the center of the power, if they see this, if they're smart, they must know that this is real. And they eventually stepping down or stepping back would be a smart way to go. Not doing that, meaning clash, meaning there will be like people always speculated that there will be more violence happening, and that's not what we want as a country. No protest, I don't see anyone in the protest call for violence at all. And now the other side, the people's in power, the people in the center power are calling yellow shirt to come out and started the clash and possibly start a scene of violence like what we saw yesterday.
Well, but when you say the people, I mean, it's a big word. We are a country of 69, 70 millions. And obviously there are millions who support the Rastron movement. But also there are millions who support the regime, to be fair.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, they have at least
8.4 million
support.
That's actually more vote than any other party. Popular vote. So when you say the people, the argument from the other side would be, well, the people are with us, the real people. They support the government. They support the monarchy. These are the real people. Not these people. How do you address that?
I see that. So I say that then we decide in the election. And we cut out the power of the Senate to elect the Prime Minister out. Let's decide in that. And if those people are more than the people who don't support Prayut, then it's okay. If we lose, if the people who support whoever is not Prayut there get less than the seats, then we lose. That's fine. Let's design in that kind of rules.
So let me pretend to be Kun Paiboon Nititawan.
Of course.
But much better looking.
Of course.
Let me pretend and say, it's already been decided. There was a referendum. The people came out to vote for the referendum, and the people voted for this constitution. The people voted for the 250 senators. What's the problem?
So I say that this is the in Thai would be เหล้าเก่าในขวดใหม่ same old whiskey in a new bottle. That
vintage.
The way that they create this constitution and eventually passed by the so-called referendum that didn't allow the people who disagree with the referendum to campaign at all. And that time was under the military regime.
Right.
I don't see that as the people's consensus at all. There's no way to call that a consensus. If that time you don't have the right to gather even 5 people to assemble to have a meeting about politics, you're not allowed. In the interim constitution, under the order of Khosrochor, the junta regime, then I see no points of calling that a constitution that is past the consensus of the people. I say that this country can move forward if we decided in an election, if we cut the power of the privilege out. I mean, that's a way to compromise here too. In that 88 years, this is the possibly the first time the Senate has the power to elect.
It is the first time.
to elect,
it's unprecedented.
Yeah, to elect the prime minister, and this is unprecedented. Even that 88 years that we didn't. That we okay, that Thai people were okay with the appointed Senate, then your power is there, the privilege. If you don't want to cancel all your power, it's fine. I can still give you all the power. The Senate can be still appointed, but can we just cut you out of the process of electing the prime minister? That's what we're asking. That we decide this in a general election, in a free and fair election, and if the democratic side and so-called democratic side lose, I'm fine, and I think the mob, the protests are fine with that too.
But in order for that to happen, you need at least 82 senators to agree.
We got 2 already.
You got 2 already.
Remember?
Can you repeat their names? Kun Nawa.
I don't even remember.
Google is your best friend.
Yeah, Google. No, the thing is.
So there were 2 or 3, right?
Yeah.
3 that voted in favor of motioning to a possible amendment.
Yeah. We. There are probably more work for us.
So about 79, 80 to go.
Yeah, 79 to vet and ask what do you want.
Let me ask you straight out. Do your party actively approach senators in order to convince them, persuade them?
I say we try, but not enough. We could do more. I say we could do more, but most of the time they don't talk to us.
Not at all.
They're not. Yeah, they're like, you're from like this party. Door shut. And that's not what we need. We need conversations.
Okay.
We need and prime the house exists only for this function to talk and to negotiate peacefully in a formal system. Not, I mean, the way that the protests are marching on the street, I support that too. But however, the people is in power supposed to. I ask from both sides to be more open-minded. From both sides, even from my side too. Some of our MP don't want to even talk to the other side.
Really?
Yeah, I said.
Who? Which one? Names?
Can't say. but you know that's politics, right? I mean, somebody might think that they will lose votes, or they will lose even people, politicians from a opposition side.
Right.
They feel like they need to be stand still and strong against every word of the government. I say we can talk. but we can stand firm on our position and we can talk.
Okay, so I guess that's where we are at. To break the cycle of coup, perhaps we need to have an actual democracy with proper check and balance, so on and so forth. But that seems to be far, far, far ahead in the future, given how the constitution has been written and given the social hierarchy, the attitude of the elites, the attitude of the government, so on and so forth. Do we have any questions?
A lot of interesting ones, actually.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Sorry, I have to ask my own question first. So, even if a certain person signed it, right? But let's say our system was like strong enough and the people were aware about the consequences of the coup enough, would the coup still happen? Even if one person signs it, like would people go on the street and try to stop that? Do you think the people would have the power over that one person signing it?
One person signing it.
Let's be delicate.
Yeah.
I say if the people are all united, even if there's a sovereign meaning a successful coup d'etat, and that one person signing that wouldn't be able to resist the power of the people. I say one of the mistake of our history is sometimes Thai people are giving away their rights and their constitution so easily. Maybe not so easily, but a little too easy.
But to say if the people united, that's a big statement, isn't it?
That's a big statement. That means
people are united.
Yeah, that means if the coup finally happen, the people need to be on the street, need to be able to fight with the military,
so
with their lives.
How do you fight tanks and guns with bare hands?
But that happens in many countries, right? However, blood will be shed. Yeah, that's what we know.
I hope you're not proposing or provoking a revolution here.
No. I'm not proposing a revolution here. But I mean, when the constitution was revoked, if the people truly believe that the constitution is their documents, is their rights.
But here's to be fair, since you believe that if there's a coup, the people ought to go out and fight.
Yeah.
Would you go out and fight?
Before we know that it's hard to win, but right now I'm sure that I myself will go out and fight.
Well, that's also the sentiment of some of the Rajasthan activists, right?
Yeah.
Essentially, Mike Panuko.
Yeah,
I said before, if there's a coup d'etat, the people will come out.
Yeah.
And we will see what's going to happen.
Yeah.
We will see what's going to happen.
Okay. Another question from Brandon Smith. How does the lack of international sanctions or ramifications post-coup legitimize each new military government?
Wait, say again. I was looking at my phone because I was checking questions too.
Does the lack of international sanctions or ramifications post-coup legitimize each new military government?
Does the international sanction?
Yeah, the lack of. Yeah.
So I think this plays important role to a coup too.
Right.
Like most of the time, we don't see international sanctions enough. We don't most of the time we don't even see it. I mean, the West, come on, you've been promoting human rights and stuff for whatever many years that have been remembered, but when the coup happened, you guys are all just like, oh yeah. Yeah, the EU was doing something like imposing trade sanctions and stuff. But yeah. You guys really believe in democracy? I don't know, dude.
Well,
like to be honest, I call every ambassadors from every European countries to do more. If the coup happened.
Well, to be fair, I mean every time it's coup, the last one at least, that there have been sanctions and trade embargo, so on and so forth.
Not even embargo.
More sanctions.
Yeah, more
cancel trade agreements,
yeah.
and so forth. Sorry, not embargo. That's the wrong term.
Yeah.
But end of the day, no matter who's in charge, the world has to deal with Thailand, and that's the reality.
Yeah.
And that's the reality of the global economy.
True. Yeah, we are in
the world has to deal with
top G20, right?
Not even close. But they have to deal with Thailand, and Thailand has to deal with them. And whenever there's a sanction of anything, it's not the generals who suffer, it's not the elites who suffer, it's the poor people who suffer.
True.
The rich people will always be rich. So whenever there's sanction, so what? Just wait it out. That has been the reality. So it's difficult to find a way out of this. Do you think that, I mean, let me play the nationalist.
Yeah.
Do you think that even in the case of coup d'etats, foreign nations ought to get involved in any way, shape or form? Like you call the embassies, the ambassadors. My question is, why the ambassadors? What have they got to do with this?
What have they got to do with this?
It's a Thai affair.
It's Thai affairs. However, human rights is the international issues. Human rights is the international issues. And if you're, let's assume that people who listen to this live is someone who from foreign countries.
A lot of them are from
foreign countries. You need to ask your government to stand with the government who at least do not violate human rights, which Kun Prayut didn't do so. Kun Prayut didn't even. There's so many cases in when he successfully did coup d'etat. He put people in jail. A lot of
attitude adjustment camp.
Yeah, attitude adjustment camp, and some even murdered.
Well, do we have proof of that?
We don't have proof of that, but we know that we know that the political activists are killed under the river, under the Mekong River.
Political activists have been made to disappear, but there had just to be proof as to who ordered it, right?
But I say a lot of people. That case.
Careful now.
Yeah, of course, but that happened in the reign. In the reign of Prayut Chan-o-cha.
Okay, it happened under his reign.
Yeah,
but that doesn't mean he ordered it.
Doesn't mean he ordered it. Doesn't mean he.
Because the activists happen under every rule.
Yeah. However, the government who is in charge at least need to start the investigations.
Okay, so
or not even ignore like this.
So the point is the government should pursue justice for the disappeared activists after all they are Thai nationals.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, I'm gonna ask my next question now.
Okay, go.
From Rob Freeberg, how to untangle the position of power, control, and ownership of the military? Generals sit on the boards of many companies, control various things, giving them much influence. Can something be done about that? Would it help? Would it help to stop the coup? I'm assuming, yeah. How do you untangle that?
I say we do not aim for the generals. We can aim for the soldier who's still in school.
That's actually a good point.
They all went to the same school called โรงเรียนจปร โรงเรียนเตรียมทหาร and
military school.
The military school. And in Thailand, there's only one of that. There's plenties of that in the US.
Mm-hmm.
This means that if โรงเรียนเตรียมทหาร the pre-military school that accept all the best among 15 years old Thai boys, they all know each other. They've been friends since they're 15 until they're 60.
That's why we have the สภาพี่น้อง brothers.
Yeah. So I say one step at least to untangle that is to at least break that school into several schools. At least make it privatize it maybe. But yeah, at least get rid of that school and possibly reform the military education in this country. The police went to the same school too.
Yeah, but that's actually that was a good point in that question. The general set on the ball.
Yeah.
It just show how deep rooted the military is in Thai society, and they sit on the board of all the major corporations, including Thai Airways. So it's not like you can just kick them out, but the key is to start at school.
Yeah,
just like everything else.
Forget about that now for now.
Forget the old general. Start with the young kids. Right.
And possibly we install the democracy concepts in their mind. Most of the time, I hear this from my soldier friends that in that school they taught that this country belongs to the soldiers. They taught in the school.
Well, I'm not surprised.
Yeah, that the reason that the soldiers always say, "Oh, we need to protect this country because this country belongs to us."
Right. Okay.
Just like that, and I was like surprised. I was like, really? Like it belongs to the people maybe, but probably possibly not just you guys.
Any more questions?
I have 2 more questions. One from Brandon Smith. Do we really need senators?
I don't see why we need senators. Actually, I like. Objectively speaking, I don't see why we need them. However, if we put that into Thai context, to have Senate in this system is the way to compromise with the privilege. Just like that. Just a simple concept to give them some stance to be here in the system. We don't want to push them out of the system. This is my theory only. The only drawbacks of 1997 was we pushed the privilege out of the system by having elected Senate.
Okay.
So
that's an interesting take.
Yeah, that's my take, that we pushing them out and they try to find a way to be back in the system.
But by they, you don't mean the senators themselves, but the elite establishment.
The establishment, the people around the core power.
Yes.
Yeah, the rich, the bureaucrats, the high rank general, the whoever that's a network up here.
I mean, in the context of history, the reason for the Thai Senate is similar in England, the House of Lords. It's a compromise between democracy and the feudal elites, and that's the context of our history, right? We were a monarchy for centuries before, unlike, let's say, the United States, where they can just start off as a democracy.
Last question from Christian. What ways to increase pressure on Prayut?
What way to increase pressure?
Anything else
that we can do more?
Can do?
Yeah.
I don't. Okay, so to me,
take the duck to the army base right here. What's it?
I say we don't need to do more. I think this is pretty good amount of pressure already. That there's a protest every other day.
Right.
From first once a week until 2 times a week, maybe 3 times a week. But then I think this is a good amount, because the protest might lose support if there's more measures, or that if they do more to pressure the government, like the red shirt or yellow shirt did. They seized the capital of Bangkok, like they seized the major business area, they seized the bridge, they seized the airport, and that is not the way to go, in my opinion.
So don't get radical.
Don't get too radical that you lose support from the people.
Okay.
Yeah, because this is from a politician's point of view. What about that?
Okay.
That the amount of the pressure is okay already. Just keep it going on, guys.
Okay.
Keep it going.
All right, thank you very much, and that's the end of this Thrisrupt Talk, this episode. Thank you, Kun Chris. It has been quite
I don't know. This is hard, man.
an excitable episode.
Yeah, I try to find a precise word in every sentence that I say.
The magic of live TV. All right, everyone, thank you, and I will see you again sometime next week. Cheers.
ขอบคุณครับ